Hello, Camelots, and welcome to An Engineer Just Talking. Okay, so this is the series in which I'm trying to improve my commentary by just talking over the game while playing a complex game like Kerbal Space Program, and hopefully improving the way I'm delivering my commentary, as well as trying to improve my ability to talk on a video. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I've got version 1.0.5. I was going to go over things like failures that probes have, space probes, because I normally talk about space news, and then I talk a bit about the game development, and then I go on answering questions or comments, talking about the comments that are asked on the previous episode. So what I'm going to do in this one though, because version 1.0.5 has come out, and if I start the game right here, if I go to resume, you can see I've already used version 1.0.5. I transferred my save of the Astra redirect tutorials to this version of the game, and it works fine because it's mostly stock except for Kerbal Engine Redux, so I don't think it was updated at the time I tried it. But also I've started a new save in Sandbox for the time being. We'll get on to the career aspect of the game, or maybe just the science. Well, someone asked for a career aspect of the game, perhaps a career playthrough. I'm not entirely sure. I wasn't impressed previously by the career, but they've added contextual contracts, so I may do so. But anyway, let's get into this new version of the game before version 1.1 comes out, which I want now. Yes, if anyone knows me by now, I'm bragging, but not bragging, I want version 1.1 to come out now. Okay, so what have we got in here? I don't think we got the shuttle. Let's have a look, see if we got the... Yes, we have. Right, new things. Parts. The one I've been looking forward to in this version. And it is the engines. Gimbaling engines. And it has a high gimbal. So if we quickly go and launch this, perhaps I can show you how that gimbaling is going to work. Also, another nice feature I think is great added to this game is the fact that if we... Okay, let's open the payload, and you've got a deployment limit. Oh yeah, I'm not sure if it's meant to glitch like that, but yeah, see if you only wanted to open slightly, otherwise it's going to hit apart if I fully open that. The clip apart. It almost does. I think it in fact... Oh, daisy. No, it doesn't clip any part of the moment, but say if it's going to clip apart, for aesthetics look, you can limit the way the amount it opens by, and therefore make it look pretty and much more realistic. Okay, but what I want to show you is, if the ground will let me. Hey, I'm not sure if you remember the previous game. Okay. Perhaps I have to activate the engine. So these engines are activated. Yes, once they're activated, look at that. Look at that gimbaling. Now, none of the other engines allow that. And in fact, the only thing that's missing from this shuttle is the real shuttle had gimbaling thruster engines, I think. Or was it? I'm not entirely sure. I'm sure I heard it somewhere. They had thruster vectoring on their solid rocket boosters, which would make sense because that would allow extra control, because the weight distribution of the shuttle is mainly in this tank from liftoff, and as this tank empties from the liquid fuel and oxidizer, the weight, the center of mass, shifts to that of the shuttle. So it's something cool. So let's quickly launch this. Go engage the SES. Do the roll maneuver. This one's a bit unstable, so yeah, you can see. But look at that gimbaling of those engines. That is awesome. So let's quickly quit this and revert the flight to Spaceplane Hangar, and we can have a look at what else they've added. Now, one thing I noticed on Scott Manley's videos is the adding of this cockpit. Look at that, nice and sleek. In fact, it reminds me more of a Concorde cockpit without the nose cone, which comes up over there to add to aerodynamics. Well, that's nice and sleek. Looks more aerodynamic. Let's have a quick look at other parts. I think I saw one. Was it in this? Control, no. Okay, aerodynamics, no. Utility, yes, here we are. The Mark 1 command cockpit. Now you can have luxury private jetliners. As well as, if we load this up, now let's cancel that. I want to have a quick look at the inside of this cockpit before we go on to show the large jet engines. Have a bit of fun with that. Okay, so let's go into IVA and look at that cockpit. Isn't it awesome? Okay, so you could sort of like zoom in by here. You'd have your thingy-majiggy there, the nav ball. You have your radar altimeter to make sure you're not going to hit the ground, and your sea level altimeter. That is absolutely awesome. Locking mode. Are any of these buttons? I don't think these buttons are functional yet. And double click on the mouse and you get a zoom in on the cockpit by the look of it. I'm not sure if that's new. But that is cool. I like that. So let's revert the flight back to this plane hangar. And I think the other parts they've added are the jet engines, or at least they've changed them. In fact, I think they've added one large jet engine. Now, I've had a quick look at this. Which one is it? I don't think that's it. That looks like it. A300. And look at those big bad boys. Yes, they've added the Goliath turbofan engines. Now that they've added the contracts where you can transport a part rather than test it, it's the same as a testing parts contracts, except you're supposed to take the part to a certain area and then don't think you actually unload it, but that's the contract complete. I suppose you could drop off the part if you had some mechanism or undock it or whatever, and then fly back, because when you recover your vessel, it's best to recover it as close to the KSP as possible. Therefore, you get more of your funds back from the parts recovered. Or however, that is awesome. Should we take it out for should we take it out for a test drive? I think we shall. Obviously. Now, hopefully, my computer doesn't suffer with the frames per second lag. It is loading at the moment. Okay, parts have loaded. We're at the moment at 14 frames per second. You can see from the jitteriness. But I'm still going to fly this. Everyone ready? Yes. Let's go. Full thrust. SAS engage. Turbines are spooling up. Now, I don't remember if I took the brakes off. Oh, there's no brakes. Okay, the brakes aren't on. I need to learn a bit about aeroplanes. Okay, let's do a gentle lift takeoff. Yeah, lovely, lovely gentle takeoff. And we're airborne. Let's bring in that gear. I always love watching the gear pulled in on real aircraft. And we seem to be tilting to the left a bit. Or right, sorry. Desperate to find control. Okay, so I love that. Look at those jet engines. And I love the way they retextured them. You can... virtually see through them. I'm not sure. Can you see through them before? Slight textures. Iffy, maybe that I wasn't paying attention to the old models, but this life engine is the largest, so it's something new to me. In fact, any space plane or aircraft parts are new to me. As you can see, I'm trying to jet a control. Yeah, that is cool. I would go and try and land it, but I'd be I'd be putting myself in a position of crashing. So crash we shall. Or in fact, what I could do is one of the new added features, or new things they've added, buoyancy. So if we get ourselves down towards the water, let's do a little dive. Pull up slowly. And what I want to try to do is try to do stall speed for the aircraft, aerodynamic stall, just close to the surface so our speed is reduced. I'm not sure what that explosion was. Hitting the wrong buttons here. That's hard. You have to do that. I know it's something to do with aerodynamic flaps, where your flaps are increased. But there's too many on here. Okay, let's get that airspeed down. Oh, we're probably gonna explode on impact. Oh no, we have survived. Now, if we'd done that in version 1.0.4, we would have disintegrated instantly, because water and Kerbals don't mix. We've lost the engines. Okay, so what does this mean? I think it means that... Let's get Kerbal on EVA just because. Okay, can we get him to use his jetpack? No, we can't. Now, I was wondering if it... Oh, yes. And also the nav ball. I was wondering if submarines are an option in this game now. Can you build a submarine, actually go underwater, without having the effects that you used to have? Look at that. The shark coming to get their Kerbal. Because submarines would be awesome in this game. I know Scott Manley's done it before, but there was glitches to be had at the time. So what else as well as talking about? Right. Let's say you're going to target this plane. Can we go to map view? If we go and target, there's target. Right, look at the nav ball. It does not rely on which way the Kerbal is pointed. It relies on which way you're pointed with the nav ball. So in fact, you can point at a target or point at a certain direction. You've got more control. You never used to have a nav ball with the Kerbal in the game, so that's quite handy. And as you control the Kerbal using the direction of the camera, it makes sense to use the nav ball as the directional indicator. And you can also get the surface, target, and orbit speed as well. That's an awesome addition to the game. Okay, so what next? Let's throw out the flight back to the spaceplane hangar. Now I know they've changed it. They've changed it apparently. Let's go to the VAB, I think, this time. And yeah, let's go to the VAB. And let's see what I've got the notes in front of me. For contracts. I'm not going to go into them in this episode. However, they have improved things to the thermal dynamics of the game. Let's just quickly. I'm not sure what I could use to generate heat. I suppose we could just launch a rocket up and let it come back down. Or I suppose what we can do is radiators. Now look at these. I think these are the new radiator parts. They got rid of the medium panels and they created them as an edge panel. I'm not too sure about that, but it may work because if any of you know, you have the atomic motor engine, and in fact what we can do and since the atomic engine only uses liquid fuel, we can reduce the oxidizer. Get a rocket to get him up there. Okay, let's launch this and see what we get. Now the idea is that the thermal nuclear engine generates heat, and they've added new feature where the game actually calculates the thermal core of the game, of the parts. Let's engage, thrust, engage, yes. Well, let's try to get a nice suborbital trajectory at least. I'm not sure. Yeah, this is the only mod I've installed in this game so far. Kerbal Engine Redux. Oh, and the brightness in mod. That's just for you two, because otherwise in the darkness of space, no one can see you scream. Okay, so those things may be causing aerodynamic drag. Does it show the core? Okay. I'm not sure if it actually shows the core, but it's calculated in the game. So the core now, it should stop overheating of certain parts and, you know, spontaneous explosions, which would otherwise be caused by it. Okay, that was not a proper demonstration of it, and I don't know how to actually properly demonstrate it, since I don't know how they work in it. I've had some that have exploded spontaneously without any explanation. But it's been quite rare, so it's not something that you'd look for completely, you know, it's not something that you'd look out for because it'd just be that rare moment. Also, one thing they fixed that I am happy about. One of my old episodes, you watched it, I launched a rocket and the launch clamps came up and met me in mid-launch. What the hell? Yes, they fixed that bug. So that's also... what else? The black and white stripes on the NASA tanks are lined up perfectly. There were, of course, plenty of bugs fitting the fixed list, but there's not enough room on this. Ooh, list them. Okay, so I think I covered most of the major features. Parts, the retextured as well. I probably missed a few odds and ends. Hey, look at those nozzles. I think in fact they actually react as well. I'm not sure if that's new, is it? Yeah, you've got the new basic jet engine. That's the turbofan engines, right? And then you've got the basic jet engine. I suppose in points, you know, you'd go through the development of them, and as you go along, I suppose, in the game. And that's the beast. That's the monolith. Panther afterburner turbojet engine. Okay, so I think that is all the parts, everything I can think of at the moment to tell you about in the game added. Oh no, I almost forgot. You now have the mini miner. Mini miner? And the mini ore converter as well. And to go with them, you have the mini ore tank. The new tools for any mini mining rig. And in fact, I've already used this drill on my mining the I've used those rigs on my asteroid building a base tutorial. So if you want to have a look at them in use, go on there. And I'm not sure if this is new, it may have been on there and I've just ignored it. But they've added to this a nice little ramp to add that we can attach to there, yeah. That you can do drop ships with, and you can drop off tanks if you're into your military KSP. And again, you can also have a deploy limit to that, so it won't be dragging, clipping into the floor. Okay, with that done, what I'm going to do is just load up an odd craft. Let's do the shuttle. And let's go to launch. And let me bring up the YouTube comments of the previous videos. Okay, if I can bring it up on my iPad. My Android pad, actually. Just talk part 4. Okay, let's start the launch countdown. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. Full thrust, please. We have cleared the minimalist tower that just disappeared in this version of the game. Yes, there used to be a launch tower in KSP, if you didn't know. Okay, as we're launching up, using a lovely gimbal with those engines, look at that thrust. Thrusting out of that engine as well, it's awesome. Okay, so the first one comment that I can see on the top of my list. I know quite a far-fetched way to re-establish an atmosphere on Mars. Redirect comment to the poles of Mars to release a lot of trapped gases inside the permafrost. That's a good idea. There are things wrong with that though, because most of the permafrost stage, most of the permafrost, if you're talking about the permafrost on the asteroid themselves, or the comets, sorry, then they're going to be in the state that they're not oxygen or carbon dioxide or any other gases in that manner of fact. Now, I haven't looked into this at all, I've only just read the comment now. And in captions he's put a shrug. That's it. See, just an idea. But to think about it, it would be an awesome idea if you could re-establish an atmosphere on Mars, even if it would be a carbon dioxide atmosphere. And surely we could plant things on it, could we? Do we do our mark? I forgot his name now. Oh, the Martian. We do a Martian on Mars. And grow plants on the surface of Mars. I don't think so, but because there is one problem. One that we cannot fix with even redirecting comets to Mars. And that is, there's no magnetic field on Mars. There's little pockets of the magnetic fields, but that's like left over from the olden days, I suppose, when Mars did have a magnetic field. Where a magnetic field is essential, and that is why the atmosphere is stripped away in the first place. And also, I think Venus, that doesn't have a magnetic field either. I'm sure it doesn't. Just drop down the first a bit. But, well, yeah, it's a good idea, but I don't think it's feasible. In the first place, we've only just learned how to land on comets, so we can do it, can land on comets. Secondly, though, it would take a lot of fuel to actually get a comet to Mars. Losing our trajectory by here. So it's an awesome idea, and in fact, I would love to see what would happen. Okay, I think at this point we need to do a rotation. Look at the gimbling of that engine. Right, let's kill the thrust. Just engage the RCS. Get back on our prograde vector. And since we've almost run out of fuel, let's push the tank. Wait. Yes, away from it. Engage our orbital engines. And I don't think we're going to make it, or we may do. I'm on the prograde vector. Now if we don't get into orbit, no. It either means I'm not flying this properly and reading comics, or not, I don't know. Anyway, it's an excellent idea, except a few drawbacks. We're not ready to do so yet. I think that's the main reason why we shouldn't try to do it. Okay, the next comment I've got is, wait, an engineer just talking. Is a career mode playthrough? And then he comments again on his own comment, I should have waited. I'm not sure what he meant by that, whether I was doing a playthrough of career, or at least science mode. I may do a playthrough on career on this save. I'm not sure yet. So I'll get back to you guys on that. And I've got someone from Susran. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot name. First comment for the comet impacting Mars was from Dom Ramsey. Second comment was from Cirez Creed. And this comment now is from Suran. And it says, congratulations on shortening length of the video from 50 minutes to 49 minutes. Mission accomplished. Yes, in the last episode I said I was going to reduce the length of the episodes because I thought the last one was too long, which was 50 minutes. The one after that was 49 minutes, so I did reduce the length of it, but not by much. And the last comment I've got from Kalimax, you should build a base on Midwest. That was Callum Milkin, sorry, and then commented on his comment. I've got Maxime Marmim. Yeah, and to help with that, you can download Kerbal Planetary Base System. I've tried it and it is very useful. Something to take into account. I think we're almost in orbit. Camera's changed. Gonna hit the atmosphere still, but never mind. Right, let's have a quick look at the comments on the previous Just Talking episode. Episode 3, Mooning Weimann. Okay, we're out of fuel, so that means we're not going to deorbit anytime soon, but we're still clipping the atmosphere, so it's not 100%, but we're in more or less an orbit. Yeah. It just means the atmospheric drag of that thin atmosphere is going to drag us down slowly. Okay, in the previous episode before that one, last one, from Tusran, I think I got his name wrong, he's German, so Truran? Oh, I'll have to try to get used to that. The remarkable thing about the Kepler-Dyson sphere story is the fact that it did not take very long to find something we never did before, we've never seen before, and having difficulties explain it. Kepler only observed a tiny fraction of the visible sky, and look at what it found, despite the fact that it's severely damaged. Look up the Kepler mission. Kepler mission part K2 mission, and what they actually came up with to continue the operations. Now, if you're not as sure about that, I think I went on about the Kepler mission and one extraordinary fact with the Kepler mission. Now, I was going to go through all this thing about in this episode about talking about space probes that have almost failed, and they've come up with an ingenious way of continuing it, like one of the Mars rovers. One of the wheels got stuck, and the way they came up with getting around that, they turned the rover around, and they reversed the rover instead of going forward. Now, it was dragging the wheel, yes, but that uncovered some interesting science, like it uncovered soil which they hadn't seen, and they analysed it, and they found new data. But not talking about that, let's talk about the Kepler, and what they've done to the reaction wheels failed on that spacecraft, which means they couldn't orientate it to a patch of space, to a load of stars, and they couldn't steady it enough to get accurate readings. But what they did do in an ingenious way, they knew the shape of the telescope. It had a sun shield on one side, so they directed that sun shield towards the sun. The sun then stabilized it in one direction, while the remaining reaction wheel stabilized it in the other, probably in that direction or something similar like that. And so then it could concentrate on one patch of sky, where the stars have now disappeared, and in fact continue the operation. Now that's the things I was going to talk about. He's got more of information on here, but I won't go into too much detail because it's quite long, and I think this episode is going to get quite long. And I think that is mostly the new comments I may have missed. I'm not entirely sure, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to end this episode here by fast forwarding time and space. Oh, yeah, I haven't played this long yet. Oh, perhaps we can use the RCS to use our speed. Unless we're out of RCS. Oh yeah. Oh no, I thought they were new fuel tanks. Okay. So if I alt click, I'll then propellant. monopropellant tank. Okay, we've got liquid fuel in these. How do I transfer them to those rear engines? There must be some hidden tanks on you. I don't know. So what I'm gonna do, I'll leave it in orbit, bugger it. We'll get our Kerbals back. And I'll continue this Let's Talk episode in the next time. I hope you enjoyed this. Anyway, if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button. If you did not enjoy that video, hit the dislike button, but also leave a comment on why you disliked it. Because I can try and improve. Although this is more for fun than anything. And for me to improve my commentary. Anyway, I'm Orbator. Trust me, I'm an engineer. And also, leave comments. I can answer questions. Or talk about subjects which you want me to talk about.